All right, man. So this is my second stream for today, and you see the title. Michael Jordan had plenty of help, and the Chicago Bulls were a super team. Now, the first picture you see up there, it might look unrelated to the video, but this is just okay because the word super team didn't come around until LeBron left to go to Miami, and you know that's kind of what happened. After he went to go to Miami, they made up a word. Oh, a super team is when three all stars form together and form a team. Something along those lines, right? Yeah, something along those lines. But what they won't tell you is that like when you look at LeBron's team, you look at his team before he left Cleveland, right? Just look at that team. LeBron James, Ilgauskas, Ben Wallace, Delonte West, Wally Zerbiak. Now he was going up against Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, Kendrick Perkins. Now you tell me which roster was a better team. Now LeBron was on the Cavs for 7 years before he decided to leave. Okay, 7 years. So he did more than enough to try and win. You know what I'm saying? And these were his best pieces before he left. So when people always talk about LeBron James, oh, he left to go to the Heat and form a super team. This team, this Celtics team, existed in his conference before he left. And they're really the sole reason he left to go form that team. Dwayne Wade said that. And really, if you look at it, that's really the reason why. So he was just balancing it out. Nobody else in that conference could beat the Celtics. So it didn't matter that LeBron, they say when he went, he ruined the league. He did this and he did that. But really, he's just even in the odds. You're not going to tell me that Ilgauskas, Ben Wallace, Delonte West, Wally Zerbiak, or even his 2010 roster, Antoine Jameson, 38-year-old Shaq, Mo Williams. And, I'm not knocking these guys, but I'm saying you're not going to tell me that is better than Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Rondo. And they had Tony Allen on that team, right? And Kobe said Tony Allen was his best defender. But whatever the case, you're not going to tell me that the roster that he had around him when he left to go to the Heat to form a team to beat the Celtics is, it was good enough to beat that Celtics team. You're not going to tell me that. And everyone that talks about LeBron leaving never has any context to why he left. Now, what we going to do, okay, if people want to dispute that, let's look at this. Look at his records, when he didn't play. 23-10 Cavs, 10-16, 38%. The Heat was 50%, was pretty good. The 2014 and 2018 Cavs, 4-23, 14.8%. The 2018 and 21 Lakers, 11-22, 33 win percent, 34-70, or a 32% win percentage when he didn't play on those so-called super teams, right? Now, granted, LeBron played on some pretty good teams, but he also played on some pretty bad teams. Now, let's just keep going, okay? I'm just making my point here. Now, we're going to go up, and we're going to look at that roster again. Now, people blame him for leaving, but we're going to go, and I'm going to show you, that even Kevin Garnett, who was on that Celtics team, knew LeBron didn't have no help before he left to go to Miami. So let's just go to that page.
2012, the famous season that's commemorated in this movie.
Yes.
Derrick Rose gets hurt.
Wow.
Philly, Boston, all of a sudden seems like, oh, whoever gets out of this, Miami, who knows? Miami hasn't won the title yet. So let's get through Philly. Rondo's making threes.
But he was getting better.
But those were clutch, major threes.
He was getting better.
Going to the Miami series, 2-2 at Miami, game 5.
Right.
Celtics win in Miami. And they're talking all kinds of shit to LeBron.
Uh-huh.
All kinds of shit that whole game.
remember
Correct
doing
or
that?
incorrect? You're trying to get in his head. You feel like you can break LeBron at this point
We broke LeBron.
in Game 5.
So get your ass out of here with that, all right? You understand how you got the Cleveland, how you got the Miami bill? You remember
That's
that?
true. You broke him in
Okay, so
2010.
remember that, all right?
Fair
so
enough.
Stop bringing that up, all right?
Fair enough.
So they was talking shit to him, okay? The media and the league knew that they had an agenda in which we wasn't part of the agenda. You understand? Right. And that's how they ended up winning that series. Yeah, I said it.
Do you think you pushed LeBron too far in Game 5?
Pushed
Because Game
too
6 he was
far?
unbelievable. You think you gave him the eye of the tiger?
Pushed him too far?
Nothing?
Man, listen, let me say something to you. The C's, we didn't give a fuck about LeBron. We didn't fear LeBron, and we didn't think that he can beat all 5 of us.
You heard that? Hold on, I'm gonna run it back real quick, just so we can't say I'm altering the video. Let's run that back.
Nothing?
Man, listen, let me say something to you. The C's, we didn't give a fuck about LeBron. We didn't fear LeBron, and we didn't think that he can beat all 5 of us. And that's how.
Okay, he said, talking about how he went from Cleveland to Miami. He said we didn't fear LeBron, and we didn't feel like he could beat all 5 of us. Now he's acknowledging that LeBron didn't have the right team around him. So when people talk about LeBron going to Miami to form this so-called super team, he was just evening the odds with the Celtics to get past the Celtics. So it's okay for everyone else to have help, but when LeBron gets help, it's unfair. He's destroying the league because he got help. They're pretty much saying and telling you he's the GOAT without saying he's the GOAT. It's unfair for LeBron to have help. And if he doesn't have help and he overachieves, what Jordan fans will do is they'll pretty much they'll say, hold on, I done lost my train of thought. Yeah, I'll just come back to that later. But the point is, he said he didn't feel like he could beat all 5 of us. One man couldn't beat all 5 of them. And this is a guy that was on the Celtics. That was part of the reason why LeBron went to Miami. But when you look at the roster once again, let's just look at the roster. This is what he was playing with compared to that Celtics team. So we're not going to sit here and act like he just was playing with an all-time great team when he was losing to the Celtics. He went to Miami to form a team to compete. So when he did that, they made up the word super team. 3 top 10, top 15 players joined together. You know, they ignored the fact that the Celtics were a so-called super team. And to be real, I don't even necessarily believe in the word super team. Every player that has won championships, especially multiple championships, had a really good team around them. You cannot win a championship without a good team around you. It doesn't matter. I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you are. We've seen that with Jordan. We've seen it with LeBron. We've seen it with Kobe. We've seen every player that, you know, when they had years where they were struggling or they couldn't get over the hump, we've seen them put up big numbers, but those numbers didn't lead to winning. Why? Because basketball is a team sport. So when you have the right team around you and you win, right? And to win multiple championships or even just one, you need the right team around you and you need help. Now, anyways, the super team word, it was made to pretty much say that LeBron, you know, cheated the game and, you know, all the different narratives that goes on about LeBron. Super team, 3 top 15 players joining up. Well, what if I told you that the Bulls were a super team? Now, this is compared to the 96 Bulls and the 2013 Heat, right? Super team, 2013 Heat super team. The Heat was 66-16, which was the number 1 record in the league. The 96 Bulls, which were not a super team according to Jordan fans, were 72-10, number 1 in the league, right? Net rating, 8.6 net rating, number 2 in the league. The Bulls, 13.4 net rating, number 1 in the league. Offense, the Miami Heat, 6.4, number 2 in the league. The 96 Bulls, 7.6 offense, number 1 in the league. Minus 2.2 defense, number 9 in the league. Minus 5.8 defense, number 1 in the league. Bulls. SRS, the Heat was number 2 in the league. The Bulls were number one in the league, 11.80 to 7.3. All right, Mob, 7.87, number two in the league, 12.24, number one in the league. So by the statistics, the 96 Bulls were better than the 2013 Heat. But the 2013 Heat is considered a super team, and the 96 Bulls aren't. Can someone make that make sense? Okay, we got the league MVP. Both had a league MVP. Yeah, the Heat had one All NBA first team player. The Bulls had two. The Heat had one All NBA third team. Okay. The Bulls had two NBA All Stars. Okay. Well, the Heat had three NBA All Stars. The Heat had one All Defensive First Team player, which was LeBron. The Bulls had three All Defensive First Team players. They also had the Sixth Man of the Year, the Coach of the Year, the Scoring Champion, and the Rebound Champion. But people would tell you the Bulls are not a super team. I mean, that's just what they're going to tell you. The Bulls aren't a super team, but the Heat was. But then you look at this, in every metric, the Bulls are a better team, at least just according to these statistics, right? So let's just keep moving on. Okay, this is just some of Scottie Pippen's performances. I'm gonna skip over that for now. Okay, now this is a slide I really wanted to get to, right? Pippen made 3 all-defensive first-team selections and 3 all-defensive All-NBA first-team selections for 3 consecutive years. The only guys to ever do that. And this is a list of, I think, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players outside of him. And this list consists of Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Giannis, Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, Jerry West. All those guys were superstars, right? And this is in NBA history. Those are only guys that have ever made 3 All-NBA first team and 3 All-Defensive first team selections, 3 consecutive years in the same years. Only guy that's ever done that. So he's one of 8 players to do that, but he's not a superstar, and Jordan had no help. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, he led the Bulls in points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, and minutes in the 1994 NBA season, right? There's only 4 other guys on that list. That list includes LeBron, Giannis, and Kevin Garnett, right? And in this season as well, he finished top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year and MVP voting. He won All-Star Game MVP, led the Bulls to 55 wins in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. But people act like Pippen was just a slouch, right? So if I'm not mistaken, let me go to Basketball Reference really quick. Okay. So he was 3rd in MVP voting the year Jordan left, right? 3rd in MVP voting, right? If I'm not mistaken, he was 4th in Defensive Player of the Year, right? This is in 93-94. Okay. He was 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year in 95. He was 5th in MVP voting in 96 and 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year voting in 96. So this dude, Scottie Pippen, he had from 94 to 96, he had 3 top 5 finishes in Defensive Player of the Year, and he had, I think, 2 top 5 finishes in MVP voting, while making first team All Defense and first team All NBA all 3 years. But people will lead you to believe that Scottie Pippen was no help, right? And this is another thing. Only 5 players in NBA history have made 10 all-defensive teams and 7 all-NBA teams. This list, okay, I'm going to name the 4 guys off before Scottie Pippen, and it's a list of superstars, some of the greatest players ever. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, and Kevin Garnett. All these guys are superstars, but Scottie Pippen, who is on this list as the 5th guy, is not considered a superstar according to Jordan fans, right? Pippen was getting recognized by his peers and media members as a top 2 player in the league in the 90s. Isaiah Thomas, for the last 4 to 5 seasons, Scottie Pippen has been the 2nd best player in the league outside of Michael Jordan, in my opinion. Charles Barkley, he's the best non-center basketball player in the world outside of Hakeem. Dennis Rodman, when Michael Jordan left in 93, 94, 95, Pippen was the best player in the world. Stephen A. Smith, now he's not an NBA player, but media. At the time, when Michael Jordan retired, Pippen was a top 2 player in the league. It was a debate between him and Olajuwon. Now, this is a picture of, hold on. This is a picture that came in the 90s, 96 Bulls. Oh, the Bulls, so good. They're bad for the NBA, Sports Illustrated. But people will tell you that the Bulls are not a super team. How are the Bulls not a super team? They see, and this is another thing. They give you a definition that only pertains to LeBron James, right? So, 3 all-star players or 3 top 15 players playing together on one team, pretty much in their prime. That's pretty much the definition that they came up with when LeBron went to the Heat, ignoring why he went, ignoring that the Celtics were a really stacked team and he didn't have a good enough team around him to beat that team. So he left after carrying that team for 7 years. But let's just go on. They'll tell you that the Bulls are not a super team based on that definition. But if you look at everything and consider everything, they're a super team. How is it the Bulls so good they're bad for the NBA? But that's not a super team. That shouldn't be considered a super team. I just showed versus the 2013 Heat, which is considered a super team, that they have better statistics all the way up, all the way through the 96 Bulls. Now let's keep going. Okay. So, and this one is really, they have the best rebounder in the league, the 96 Bulls. The best 3-point shooter by percentage, Steve Kerr. Best rebounder, Rodman. Best, the 6th man of the year, Tony Kukoc. The, coach of the year, Phil Jackson, right? Scottie Pippen, the best all-around player in the league, right? So you got all these, the best of everything. And then so let's go back. In 1996, Rodman led the league in boards. Scottie Pippen, Rodman led the league in boards and was first team all defense. Scottie Pippen was first team all NBA, first team all defense, 2nd in defensive player of the year, and 5th in MVP voting. Now that's just his first 2 best teammates. Then you had Tony Kukoc, who was the 6th man of the year. Then you had Kerr, who shot the best percentage from 3 in the league. Then you had Ron Harper, who had just had a previous season where he averaged 20 points per game on the Clippers and decided to go to the Bulls. Then you add Phil Jackson, who was the best coach in the league, and he was the coach of the year. Then you add the best player to the team that already had the best rebounder, the best 3-point shooter, the best 6th man, and the best coach, and all the different things I just named, and you're telling me that the Chicago Bulls were not a super team. That's what Jordan fans will tell you. But let's keep going. Dennis Rodman in the 90s, 7 straight years led the league in boards, or 6 straight in the 90s. He was 2nd in 91, but whatever the case. 6 straight years, 7 straight seasons, multiple games with 30 rebounds, won the Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. Scottie Pippen outplayed every second option in every single finals, except for 96. but the Bulls were not a super team, right? This is something that Jordan fans do. Now, they'll tell you the Bulls aren't a super team, but they'll also tell you this. Hold on.
I agree with him with one slight asterisk, and the asterisk is there is one other team that has an argument because that other team did what the 2017 Warriors did. So I don't know if where Bruce Ardenwild's fall on this, but Brew, you know, as part of my 50 greatest players last 50 years series that you guys are all have been a part of, I've kind of been diving into a lot of the NBA history from 1970 to now. And I would just like to, so some of the greatest teams ever are, for example, the 72 Lakers. So what if the 72 Lakers, that offseason, Brew, added Rick Barry, who was one of the 3 or 4 best players in the league? Then the 73 Lakers would be the greatest team ever. What if the 86 Celtics, one of the greatest teams ever, that offseason added Akeem Olajuwon, a guy that was one of the 3 or 4 best teams ever? Then everyone would be like, oh yeah, that's the greatest team we've ever seen. Or if the 96 Bulls, who Draymond referenced, that offseason going in 97 added Shaquille O'Neal, then yeah, they're probably the best team ever. Well, 2 teams literally did that. 2 teams in NBA history had a league MVP, had either a championship in their pocket already or multiple finals appearances in their pocket already, and added a guy who had just won league MVP. The 83 Sixers and the 2017 Warriors. Those are the 2 greatest teams ever, and there is no debate. And by the way, Brew, they both have the resumes to speak to it. They both won at least 65 games, and come the postseason, they both kicked everybody's teeth in. Moses said the Sixers, who was their version of adding Kevin Durant, were going to go faux through the playoffs. They went faux through the playoffs. They went 12-1. And the Warriors went 4-4-4-5 because there was the extra round. They won their first 15 playoff games for the Cavs got game 4. Those are the 2 greatest teams ever. I happen to think the 2017 Warriors are better than the 83 Sixers, but I'll listen to the argument. But I don't think any other team deserves to be in the room for the discussion of the greatest teams ever. It's those 2 teams, and it's just logically speaking, they were already championship caliber. They already had a league MVP in his prime, and they added another league MVP in his prime.
How can you defeat that logic? I mean, we talking about the 73-win Warriors that added the second best player in the world. And Curry was already top 3. So he was 3rd in the world, and they added the second best player in the world. But let's just keep going.
Good history, Nick. Real talk. That was good. Let me address quickly the 72 Lakers. I wouldn't say they're the best ever, or in the discussion, they had obviously a tremendous lineup. But half the best players in the world at that time were in the ABA, including Dr. J. So
sure.
I have to take them out of that. Then with the Sixers, I'm glad you mentioned him, because for a long time, I have thought that they were arguably the best team ever with Dr. J and Moses Malone. But I'm going to go, not surprisingly, with the Chicago Bulls of 1996. Michael.
Of course he's going to go with the Chicago Bulls of 1996. He's a Jordan worshiper.
Jordan and the Bulls. God. And I'm going to try to look at this objectively. I'm going to try to look at this objectively. All right. You know, I'm the facts over feelings guy. And here's the facts.
True.
They had the best regular season ever. 72 wins.
No. They did not have the best regular season ever. The Warriors broke that record. 73 wins. And then they added Kevin Durant, which is why that team is the best team ever. But of course, they had the best regular season ever. They didn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going to fix that statement. But hold on.
That year, they had the number 1 defense, the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense in the league. Let's compare them to the 2017 Warriors, who had the number 1 offense. Both of them, by the way, offensive ratings, 115. All right, so the Bulls, that's what everybody would think. Oh, the Warriors' advantage would be the offense, but the Bulls had the same offensive ratings. So that's a wash. Defensively, the Bulls were the best in the league. Golden State was second best in the league, but the Bulls' rating, 101. Golden State's 104. Here's the difference, Nick, between 3 points in defensive rating. I want to make it plain for the viewers. That's the difference between Toronto, Utah, and Philadelphia. 3 good defensive teams this year. And the Lakers this year. Okay, that's the type of difference we're talking about with 3 defensive points in defensive rating. So that's how much better that Bulls team defensively was than that Warriors team defensively. 3 of the 4 best defenders in that series would play for the Bulls. Pippen, Rodman, and Jordan. All right? Then the Bulls had a much tougher road to go through. You like the Sixers in 83. I liked them too. But the Bulls could handle size. They beat Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway, 2 Hall of Famers in the first round. They beat Patrick Ewing in the second round. They swept Shaq and Penny in the third round.
They swept Shaq and Penny in the third round, right? But Shaq and Penny got swept 2 straight years before that, even before the Bulls swept them. So what's so impressive about sweeping a team that was swept twice before you swept them? Let's continue.
And then handled Sean Kemp and Gary Payton in the finals. 4 great big men. At that time, Kemp was even a great big man. Let's see who the Warriors went through. The Warriors went through Dame Dollar, Damian Lillard in the first round. Okay. They went through Rudy Gobert and Gordon Hayward. Donovan Mitchell wasn't even in Utah at the time. 2 guys I know you love, Gordon Hayward and Rudy Gobert. Okay. The third round, they went through LaMarcus Aldridge and a 39-year-old Manu Ginobili. Kawhi got hurt in the first game. All right. Then they faced some real competition in the finals with Cleveland. All right. Not to mention the best player in the game, in the series, would obviously be with the Bulls, Michael Jordan. But not only the best player, the best clutch player. And Nick, this seals the deal. Jordan was obviously clutch. He's got the most game-winning buzzer beaters in NBA history with 9. Guess how many Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson have combined? 4. Durant's got 3 of them, and he hasn't hit one since 2012. Now, let me finish. Durant's got 3 of them, hadn't hit one since 2012. Okay? Steph has never hit one in the playoffs. 0 for 9. I would think these games might be close. And if they're close, I'm going with the guy that's more clutch than the rest of the whole team. Oh, and finally, while about the clutch thing, I'm going with the fact. Can I finish? I'm going with the facts.
Yeah.
All right. The Warriors, the Bulls never went 7 games with anybody. The Warriors, that entire team, every one of them has the experience of blowing a 3-1 lead. Durant in Oklahoma City blows a 3-1 lead to the Warriors in the conference finals, and then those same Warriors blow it to the Cavs. So objectively, I just stated a bunch of facts, not feelings, not suppositions, not opinions. Those are all facts.
Okay. Now, I'm not even going to say anything to dispute what he was saying, because he's going to go with the Bulls no matter what. Jordan worshipers are always going to go with Jordan no matter what, even though history tells us, like when he was getting swept by the Celtics and put it on the first round twice, it don't count. And 1-3 versus the Pistons, all that doesn't matter. So, none of that matters according to Jordan fans, and according to them, what's not the excuse, but what's the reason for that? Don't bet against Jordan. They would never bet against Jordan. But even when you look at, the things I just mentioned, history says you can bet against Jordan. Now, I'm not trying to knock Jordan, but I'm saying Jordan, the Bulls didn't win just because they had Jordan. They were not just great just because they had Jordan. Jordan was like a cherry on top. But whatever the case, the point is, he said him and all the different Jordan worshipers will say the 96 Bulls will beat the 2017 Warriors, right? Given whatever reasons they have. But then they'll tell you that the Bulls are not a super team. How does that work? How can a team that's that would beat a team that's as good as the 2017 Warriors beat? How can a team that, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. A team that, a team that's as good as the 2017 Warriors, a team in the 96 Bulls that could beat the 2017 Warriors, according to Chris Broussard and all the other Jordan worshippers. They could beat the 2017 Warriors, but they're not a super team. I just don't get it. And here's another thing. If you're making that claim that, Jordan would beat the Bulls, the Bulls would beat the Sonics. I'm tripping. The Bulls would beat the Warriors. I'm a little tired, but if you're making the claim that the Bulls would beat the Warriors, then you're either saying that Jordan had way more help than LeBron, or you have to be saying that, because the Supersonics are not, none of the teams Jordan faced in the playoffs or that finals run was better than the 2017 Kevin Durant Warriors. Now, the point I'm trying to make with that is, if you're saying that Jordan would beat that team, the 2017 Warriors, the 96 Bulls would beat that team. Now, this is what Jordan did in the 1996 finals. 27-5-4. Right? That doesn't sound too bad. But then you look at his percentages. 41% from the field, 31% from three. He had the most turnovers on the Bulls, right? Okay. And then you look at Scottie Pippen's stats. Scottie Pippen only averaged 15, 8, and 5, right? Now, I'm not knocking Scottie Pippen, but what I'm saying is he only averaged 15, and he shot 34% from the field. And these two percentages, 41%, 34%, are the worst that Jordan and Pippen shot in any of their finals runs, but they still won. Now, a lot of people would dispute this, but George Karl and John Kim says that they won because of Dennis Rodman. Another topic for another time, right? But the point is, look at their percentages. They shot their worst percentages in this finals, and they still won. Jordan averaged 27-5-4. Right? Okay. We can now all you have to do is look at LeBron James's averages. 33, 12, and 10. Kyrie averaged 29, 4, and 4. Kevin Love averaged 16 and 11. LeBron shot 56% from the field, 38% from three. Kyrie, 47% from the field, 41% from three, right? The point that I'm trying to make is, you can't put it to you like this. If LeBron averaged 33 and Kyrie averaged 29 and they lose in 5 games, and then Jordan averages 27-5-4 and Pippen averages 15, 8, and 5, and they win in 6, doesn't that show that the 2017 Warriors are way better than what the Bulls faced in the 96 finals? And not only does it show that, it also what I'm saying is, in a hypothetical matchup, the 96 Bulls versus the 2017 Warriors, right? We can't expect Jordan and Pippen to play far better than what they did to have to beat a team of that caliber. And we all know the Kevin Durant Warriors are way better than the Supersonics. Anybody disputing that just doesn't know basketball. The point is, LeBron and his second option can put up way bigger numbers. Even his second and third option can put up way bigger numbers than what Jordan had, and they can lose in 5, but Jordan can win in 6. Jordan can play worse than what LeBron did, and they can win in 6. So look at this: 27-5-4, 27-5-4, 41% from the field, 31% from three, right? Now, this is what LeBron put up in a 2017 NBA Finals. 33 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. Shot 56% from the field, 38% from three. Now, how does Jordan win in 6 and LeBron lose in 5? It's because he's playing way better competition. That's how. And that's another, I'm gonna do a stream on that, but that's why that finals record, that's why that argument don't work. Because of things like this. Look at these numbers. 27, 5, and 4. He shot worse from the field, worse from three. Wins in 6. 33, 12, and 10. Better from the field, better from three. His second best option put up better numbers. And they lose in 5 games. How does that happen? Better teams. But the point is, if you're saying that the Bulls would beat that team, and we're going based off of their performances in these finals, so we can assume that LeBron will put up something similar versus the Supersonics than what he did here. We can assume that Jordan will put up something similar to what he did versus the Supersonics. He would do something similar versus the Warriors. And if 33, 12, and 10 ain't enough to beat them on better efficiency, then 27, 5, and 4 damn sure ain't beating them. But let's just assume he shoots a little better and he averages a little more points. The point I'm trying to make is LeBron performed better and lost. Jordan performed worse and won. If you're saying the Bulls could beat the 2017 Warriors, you're calling the Bulls a super team, and you're saying Jordan had way more help than LeBron. That's the reality. You're telling me, without telling me, that Jordan had way more help than LeBron. Because if he could put up these numbers and win, and assuming, whatever, he would put up similar numbers, maybe average 30 versus the Warriors. But if he was able to edge it out and win, is the point. The point is you're saying that Jordan had a better team around him. That's a fact. So you're telling me that the Bulls are a super team. And if you're telling me that they can beat a team as good as the Warriors, you're saying that they're a super team. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't really have nothing else to say. I'm probably about to upload another video, but I'm just showing the reality of Jordan fans and why their arguments don't work. And saying that, Scottie Pippen wasn't helped and the Bulls weren't a super team and all this, it's just all false, man. So I'm going to catch y'all later.